Welcome to Creeper's Den channel, your lovely creator of horror stories. Let's listen today's are true creepy horror stories. Daniel had always drawn an odd crowd. One incident from his 4th grade year, shortly after we relocated for my job, still chills me. He'd made friends quickly at his new school, so we weren't concerned. I even liked the other parents. They seemed normal. Then the school called. Daniel and another student had a problem. I went to get him, confused and angry. Daniel, typically chatty, wouldn't tell me anything. At the school, the principal questioned me about Daniel's behavior. He was a good kid, so I answered honestly. Turns out, Daniel had hit a boy, Justin, with an eraser after recess, causing him to scream and fall. This wasn't like Daniel. They were supposedly friends. The principal admitted no one witnessed it, but both boys gave the same story. It was considered a minor scuffle, so no real action was taken. Daniel remained silent until bedtime, when he finally explained Justin tricked him. They were playing a game, and Justin told Daniel to pretend to hit him with the eraser as part of it. Then, Justin dramatically faked an injury and threatened Daniel into playing along. Furious, I found Justin's mom's number. Melanie sounded sweet. She claimed Justin confessed, was disciplined, and had always had some behavioral quirks. She even blamed it on him acting like a different person sometimes. Feeling sympathetic, I agreed to a sleepover at her house that weekend so the boys could bond. Melanie seemed fine, and we chatted while the boys played. I eventually asked about Justin's behavior. She confided he'd seen specialists, that they hoped he'd grow out of it, and that his increased socializing at school was a positive sign. She assured me Justin wasn't violent, just odd. I felt reassured, even good about Daniel helping Justin. They seemed to be getting along great. The next morning, Daniel was happy, but on the drive home, he sobbed. He said something woke him during the night. Whispering and a flickering light, like a candle, came from the bathroom. He heard Justin talking, but calling himself Mr. Evans, and having a one-sided conversation with the mirror. The light vanished, and then Daniel heard whispering above his bed. It wasn't English. Terrified, he stayed still until Justin returned to bed. In the morning, Justin acted normal. Horrified, I called Melanie. She initially dismissed it as Justin's imagination. When I pressed, she admitted his issues were more severe, that one doctor suggested multiple personalities, and that they'd moved twice due to school expulsions. I was livid. She begged me not to tell the school. I agreed before hanging up, unsure what to do. The following Monday, Justin violently attacked another student and was expelled. Melanie's phone was disconnected. Days later, their house was empty. They vanished. I never found them. Daniel's mostly forgotten it, but I haven't. I keep thinking about what could have happened where they are and what Justin might be doing. My religious upbringing taught me about demons. While I never fully believed it, that fear lingers. I can't help but wonder if it was something more than just a troubled child. My mother, an atheist, would have a different view, I'm sure. We never saw eye to eye on much, especially faith. She had her own demons to fight, battles she never wanted assistance with. Her erratic behavior was a constant. Some days were manageable, others felt like navigating a minefield. It was tough, and in retrospect, it seemed clear she struggled with a severe mental illness, probably schizophrenia. But back then, things were different. Mental health wasn't discussed openly. One afternoon, a nightmare jolted me awake. I dreamt she burst into my room, furious, violently shaking me. I woke up drenched in sweat, terrified. Moments later, it happened. Not the dream, reality. She flew in, mirroring the nightmare exactly, the same rage, the same frantic words. I shoved her away, yelling. It ended abruptly. She vanished. The next day, she remembered nothing, confused by my distress. I tried to rationalize it as a strange coincidence, but a nagging doubt remained. Weeks later, a chilling scream from the backyard, not a scream of fear, but of excitement. I found her there, beaming, holding an enormous python. The sheer terror of it was amplified by the fact she had a crippling phobia of snakes. Yet, she held it like a beloved pet, beckoning me closer. I recoiled. "Mom, what the hell?" Her blank stare made it clear she didn't understand. Her smile widened, her head tilted in a mocking gesture. I fled inside, my heart pounding. Through the window, I watched her release the snake and stroll back in, as if nothing happened. Later, she dismissed it as my imagination. That winter, during a church lock-in, a frantic knocking startled us awake at 4:30 a.m. The sound moved erratically, impossible to pinpoint. It wasn't wind or an animal. It was someone or something trying to get in. The pastor, holding the only key, slept soundly in his office. I woke him. As he entered the chapel, the knocking ceased. Opening the doors, he recoiled. There she stood, barefoot, soaked in sweat, mumbling incoherently. She ignored the pastor, her gaze fixed on me. A slow, creepy smile spread across her face as she approached. I wanted to escape, but the pastor restrained me. I felt compelled to go with her. The drive home was silent. She offered no explanation, no answers to my questions. At home, she paused in the doorway, watching me walk to my room. I locked the door, lay awake, listening. The next morning, she acted as if nothing had occurred, cheerful, asking if I was ready for her to pick me up from church. I was horrified. No one else at the church ever mentioned the incident. It was like they collectively chose to ignore it. That was years ago. She's gone now, but the memories linger. I don't know if I believe in the supernatural, but I can't explain those events. Perhaps it was mental illness, substance withdrawal, something else entirely. But the memory gaps, the bizarre timing, her sudden personality shifts, they still haunt me. My oldest son began sleepwalking around 8 or 9. I wasn't overly concerned at first. It seemed like a typical childhood phase. I'm a light sleeper, so I always knew when he was up. I'd find him in the hallway, swaying, eyes open but vacant, staring through me. It was deeply unnerving. He'd sometimes mumble, other times stand silently, breathing slowly. I'd guide him back to bed. He never remembered a thing. Months later, a rhythmic tapping woke me, like dripping water, but it wasn't raining. Soft, consistent, deliberate. It persisted, drawing me out of bed. I found him facing the wall, his forehead gently knocking against it, fingertips tracing the surface in sync. I whispered his name. No response. He continued knocking, as if trying to push through. I hesitated, a sudden chill running down my spine. I touched his shoulder, breaking the trance. He blinked, stepped back, and allowed me to lead him back to bed. He never spoke of it. It recurred a few more times, then stopped. He outgrew the sleepwalking, and I forgot about it, until my younger son began doing the same years later. At first, I dismissed it as a genetic quirk, but then I noticed the specifics, the swaying, the vacant stare, the eerie rhythm, mirroring his older brother's behavior. Then, one night, the tapping returned. I knew what I'd find. There he was, forehead against the same spot on the wall, knocking. I called his name, touched him. Nothing. He just kept knocking. That's when it struck me. He'd never seen his brother sleepwalk. His brother hadn't done it in years. There was no reason for this identical behavior. The realization made me sick. I roused him, tucked him in, trying to convince myself it was nothing. Like his brother, he eventually stopped. No more sleepwalking, no more tapping, no memory of it. Years passed. I forgot about it. Until now. My sons are away at college, the house quiet. A few weeks ago, we started renovations. Our old house was due for a makeover. We figured new flooring and a fresh coat of paint would do the trick. During the renovations, as we peeled off the old wallpaper, we discovered something hidden beneath. Initially, I assumed it was a discoloration or some leftover backing, but as more wallpaper came down, I froze. It was an antique mirror, completely concealed. I couldn't understand why anyone would cover it up instead of just taking it out. I felt foolish, just standing there, captivated by a mirror as if it held some power. But I had this unsettling feeling, like it was meant to stay hidden, like uncovering it was a mistake. Then it hit me. The mirror's location was precisely where my boys, years ago, kept bumping into the wall. The memories rushed in. It made no sense. There was no way they could have known it was there, concealed behind layers of wallpaper. It was impossible, especially since they were sleepwalking at the time. I got rid of the mirror immediately, but the whole thing still bothers me. There has to be a logical reason, but I can't find one. I'm honestly at a loss.